What's up, fam? A very wonderful, glorious day 33 here. I finally looked up on my channel which episode this actually was, and it's 33. Fun fact as well, I was actually looking at the thumbnail of my last video, and it was very unnecessarily aggressive. So I might need to. That was the auto generated one, so I might need to change that one. But quick update for today. If you can't tell from the hat and the jacket, everything, it is cold here. It is really getting frosty. It's like minus 10, minus 15 today in Toronto, so I'm excited to get to Colombia. Couple things that I want to talk about. So first thing was yesterday I mentioned, okay, I was looking at consolidating my social medias down to one, and would I pick TikTok to be my primary, and then would I stop doing YouTube forever? And I took a little bit more time to think about it, and I still haven't made a final decision yet. But what I was actually leaning towards was keeping this YouTube channel and just kind of keeping it in the format that I'm doing here. And my intention wouldn't be to grow a YouTube channel or become some big famous YouTuber and all of this. Really, it would just be a place to once a day get on camera, record a video like this, 5-10 minutes of kind of what's going on, and just use it purely as a documenting, kind of documenting the journey, documenting the day to day, documenting kind of what the what the big thing that happened that day, that week, that whatever was, right, and using it purely as a like a self-reflection tool, really, more than anything. And if I share something interesting and you like it and it helps you in your life, perfect. That's just extra bonus points. That's gravy. That's the cherry on the gravy on the top. But yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Just having this purely as a way to document kind of what's going on. What am I looking at doing? What are my struggles? What's going well? What are the successes? What are the wins? What are the challenges? What am I looking at doing? What do I want to experiment with? That kind of stuff. Just as something that then later I can look back on and reflect and be like, oh wow, that's where I came from. Because I actually got so this idea was actually recommended from a buddy of mine recently, that he got from a podcast or something. But the idea was basically that once a week, you sit down and you record a podcast, or a video podcast, vlog, whatever. The point is that you sit down and you record yourself for an hour every week, and again, just similar to this, kind of talk about what's been going on. And the idea behind the exercise was, again, just purely on self-reflection, of having a way to feedback. It's like a feedback loop cycle, right? Because if I record a video here and then in a couple days, weeks later, whatever, I look back on it, I can see, okay, this is how much, I've grown. This is how much things have changed. Or I could even see oh wow, I didn't realize that I talk kind of funny. Maybe I should talk, change how I. Maybe I should change how I speak. Real, deep, manly stuff here. But for example, I'm notoriously bad at mumbling my words. I'm not great naturally at just enunciating and saying clearly what I'm trying to say. Now, the thing is that in my head, the words all sound very clear, right? To me, it's all very clear. I hear it well, so naturally doesn't everybody, right? And that was one of the things that I started to realize when I started watching my videos back and seeing myself speak again. I started to see, oh wow, I mumble a lot. I really just smooth over a lot of words, and I really don't say a lot of things clearly. And even times there are certain words that in my mind I had really put a strong emphasis behind it. I'd really said it clearly, that's how I thought it was. And then I watched the video back and it's you barely hear the word. You almost skip right over it. And so even for that alone, just having a tool where I can, again, just kind of document the journey, look back on and see wow, okay, here's how far I've come, here's what I can do better. And so at the moment I'm leaning towards that in terms of this YouTube channel. It's just purely just a once a day check-in, here's what's going on. Because I think the reason I was getting stressed out about running this YouTube channel is I was realizing, well, if I really want to grow an audience, I'm going to have to do something interesting, right? I'm going to have to create content, here's the 10 ways to blah blah blah, here's the 10 ways to get your ex back, or here's how to, here's how to make a bomb track in GarageBand taught to you by an expert. You know what I mean? Like proper content that's organized, that's structured, that has a specific emphasis on, the user, you who's watching this, specific goal oriented. And, I think that stuff is great, but it requires a lot of thinking, right? Need a lot of thinking. It requires just like thought and planning and structure and like sitting down and, today's video is going to include this. When I record these videos, I brainstorm in my head for about, 20, 30 seconds. Okay, this happened, this happened, this happened. Okay, turn on the camera, test the microphone, make sure it's working well, and then go, right? There's not really a lot of planning. There's no editing. It's very stream of conscious, whatever. It's just kind of off the cuff. Throw it up, slap it up, done, right? So super, super basic. And I was kind of at this crossroads, the fork in the road of saying, okay, well, if I want to grow this YouTube channel and be a YouTube thing, right, I'm going to have to step up my content game. And I was just feeling very apprehensive about not really wanting to do it. Just feeling like, and I guess just feeling this feeling of it's not worth my time and effort to do it on YouTube. Right? I think more than anything, that's what I was feeling. There's just this feeling of like, oh man, if I invest all this time and energy into YouTube, I feel like it's not really going to pay off. And I keep, in my mind, I keep thinking like TikTok. It has been crazy on TikTok because I haven't posted up that many videos, but I've been posting up some stuff. And I've started getting a few followers, like just this little trickle of followers, right? And people, random people see it, they comment on it. And so it just feels like there's more activity going on there, right? Whereas to me on YouTube anyway, it feels kind of like a dead zone. So that's what I'm leaning towards. So for now, good news, we're going to keep these videos going. Should I talk about NFTs? Should I talk about NFTs or should I save them for another day? All right, this is exciting, so I'll get into this quickly. So as many of you may or may not know, recently, for the last 6 months, I've been very closely following Gary Vaynerchuk, because he released this book. I don't know if you can see this. Ooh. Not even hitting the right one. 12 and a half, right? He released this book 12 and a half about 6 months ago, back in August. And there was a pre-sale. So if you bought 12 copies of the book, which I got more than 12, many more than 12, he airdropped an NFT. And so those dropped this week. I think it was Monday, right? So it was Monday. Today's Friday, so it's like this week, brand new. And I was feeling a little overwhelmed at first because I got 15 different tokens, and there's all these different characters, and they have different frames and different rarities. Newsflash: I didn't get any of the super rare ones. Damn. Although I did get one that's like reasonably-ish rare. Like not like top echelon, but like if there's a, if shit is at the bottom and then there's like, medium rare and then there's, super special rare, right? I got one that's like, the top end of the shit pile, right? Well, let's say that. So I got something. But long story short, I was feeling overwhelmed because I'm like, all right, I have all these tokens and like, I don't know what they're worth and like, what do I do with them? And so I was looking on Token Trove. I was trying to get a sense of like, okay, look, what are other people selling these for? And, prices were all over the place, right? Because some people get them and they're like, this is 3,000 ETH, which is like, what's that, $1 million or something, right? So like, some people just like moonshot goals, right? And then other people sell them for like nothing. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's going on here? Anyway, long story short, I did what any good engineer did, is I made a spreadsheet. And so I put them all into my spreadsheet and I said, okay, I've got this one, I got this one, I got this one, I got 3 of these, I got 2 of those, put them all in the spreadsheet, and then basically looked at what was the floor price, right? As in, and when I say floor price, what I mean is like the lowest price in that moment. And the reason that I use the floor price is that in my mind, it's like the quick sale price, as in like, if I wanted to sell something right now, I would list it at the floor price and I know it would get bought up like that, right? So the floor price is like, this is what it's going for right now. And so obviously I want to get more than the floor price, but I thought it'd be simplest just to start with the floor, as, be conservative here, right? So I set up the spreadsheet, got all my tokens in there, and I figured out how much it was worth. And without getting into specific, let's just say I was happy, right? And I'm at a point now where I've about doubled my initial investment. So whatever mysterious amount of money I initially invested into these books, into these NFTs, it's now worth about two. It's about 2x, right? Which honestly, that alone makes it like the best financial investment that, well, I've made this year, or really, I mean, possibly ever in my life. Like, how many times can you say, this is actually a legit question, how many times can you say in your life that you've made an investment, a specific financial investment, dollar amount, and that within 6 months it had doubled in value? I'm serious. How many times can you say that you've done that in your life, right? Probably not that many. And so I'm feeling pretty good about that. It, doubled. And then, so what's interesting as well is not only are the value of the tokens kind of going up and down and all over the place, but the price of Ethereum is also going up and down and all over the place, right? So it's like all these variables just kind of like working together. But so where this story is going before it gets too boring here. So basically, I've been watching the floor price through the week, and when these NFTs came out, the initial floor price was about 0.18 ETH, which, if you translate that into Canadian, is about $700, something like that, right? So the initial floor price, 0.1 ETH. And then through the week, the value plummeted because more supply came in, right? Because this was as things were kicking off and more people were getting the tokens. Keep in mind, it's like 125,000 tokens here, right? Massive amount of tokens. So the floor price plummeted from 0.18 down to 0.14, which I think is, I'm doing quick math here, but I think that's around like $550 somewhere in there, right? Which is still decent. It's still more than the value of the people paid for the books, right? Which is cool. But it went down, and I was getting kind of nervous of like, oh man, maybe I should have sold, right? But I was like, patience, young grasshopper. And through the week, then steadily the floor was coming up and up and up. And now the floor today, like just right now, like half an hour ago, hit 0.2, right? So 0.2 ETH, and it's a beautiful, nice round number. And then I was looking at how did my investment change through the week, right? Like now that I've got investments, I'm an investor, right? And, what were they worth on Monday when they came out? What are they worth today? And in 3 days, my investment portfolio went up $2,000, right? And initially I was looking at that and I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh man, they only increased 2,000, like only? Because in my mind I'm like, come on, man, millions, Lambo or food stamps, right? And so yeah, initially I was kind of disappointed. I was like, only $2,000. And then I was kind of reflecting on it in terms of like, how much do I, in my marketing business, right? How much do I have to work to make $2,000, right? And I started putting it into perspective of like the amount of time, hours, weeks, blood, sweat, and tears. Like, how much time does it take me to work and earn $2,000 and, deal with clients and deal with problems and fix things and whatever? How much time does it take me to make that versus 3 days of my NFT investment of me sitting on my ass and doing nothing? I was like, whoa. When you put it in perspective like that, I was like, whoa, that was pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool. And so now the question is, how much is it going to keep growing, right? How much is this going to keep growing up and up? And I mean, I honestly think the next 5 months really are going to be very interesting, right? Because that's really as this whole book games thing keeps kind of expanding and growing, right? Gary's been dropping hints about, stuff that's coming. But for example, one of the things is there's a V2 series 2 VFriends that are coming out sometime in the next 3 months, right? And basically, in order to get one of those V2 VFriends, you need to own some quantity of these book games tokens, right? Which means a lot of people are going to be coming in to buy up these tokens so they can get a V2, right? Which again, more people buy them and then burn them, right? Because you then have to burn the tokens to get the V2, right? I'm sure this is all making sense. And so as more people buy them and burn them, what does that mean? Supply goes down, demand goes up, prices go up, right? The other thing as well is VCon, right? The big conference Gary's hosting in May, right? It's coming up in May. And as well as part of that, people can burn Book Games tokens to get tickets to go to VCon, right? So again, all of these things are more incentive for more people to get in, more people to invest, more people to buy, more people to burn, less tokens, price goes up. So it's going to be really interesting to watch over the next 5 months how the price, how the price of my investment changes and goes up. Because I'll be quite honest, and I think I said this before, at the moment, I have zero interest in any of the prizes. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's some wonderful, fantastic prizes. You can burn these tokens to get, other NFTs. You can burn them to go to the conference. You can burn them to get like special access to, meet Gary, right? There's all sorts of stuff that you can do with them. And I'm sure those are all great prizes, but I'm enjoying being in a new position in my life, which is where I have zero interest right now. I have zero interest right now in like winning prizes or going to the conference or doing all those things, right? And I'm enjoying just sitting back, letting the market go crazy, letting the market get excited about, oh, I want to go to the conference. Oh, I want to meet Gary. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to, burn. Oh, I want to get this other NFT, right? Letting the market get excited about what they want to do, right? Let them get excited and go crazy and get irrational. And as they become more irrational and they're like, I need to buy that thing. I really need that wood. I really need that curiosity pig with a wood frame or whatever. As the intensity of that demand goes up, I get to sit back and say, well, if you'd like to purchase one, right? And so I'm in a great position here, and I'm enjoying that because it's not often in my life I get to feel that. So, wow, that was quite the rant today. 17 minutes. Okay, time to wrap it up. But yeah, overall, feeling good. Finishing packing up for Colombia, NFTs. This morning took the first dose of the injectable testosterone. Just took a very small dose. I wanted to taste test it. I wanted to give it a test run before I go down to South America. So far, 12 hours later, still feeling good, still alive. Been feeling kind of like warm and tingly. I think is the best way to describe it. Just this nice kind of calm, warm, tingly feeling, right? That everything's going to be okay, right? Everything's going to be cool. Yeah, that's the big stuff, really. All right, let's end this rant. It is getting way too long. All right, love you, fam. See you soon.